your new friend Ty.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Tea Party Podcast. It's a podcast where you find new friends and new music. And this week I am joined by an Illinois native who's better known for his work with 88 keys and not 6 strings. He'll be here in Las Vegas at Stoney's this month. But first, let's welcome to the show, Mr. Eric Burgett. How are you, buddy?
Hey, I'm good, Ty. How y'all doing today?
I am good, other than clearly I can't talk today, my friend.
You're good, man. It's a Wednesday. We're like halfway through the week. I mean, ready for the weekend. I'm sure you are.
Oh, heck yes. Well, here we go, man. We'll tee off with Eric Burgett next.
It's time to tee off with Ty and today's guest, Eric Burgett. Here comes the first 4.
Okay, we're just going to jump right into it with question number 1, Eric. If you couldn't be in the entertainment industry, what job would you have?
That is a tough decision because there's no plan B for me. But I guess if there's anything, if I have to choose, it's probably agriculture, like farming.
Okay. I think that makes sense, being where you come from, but we'll get into that in a little bit. Question number 2, if I give you control of the music at a party, what's the very first song that you're going to play?
Black Eyed Peas.
Okay. Anything in particular?
No, anything Black Eyed Peas, I guess I should say.
That's probably a good call.
Gets me
I mean, they are one way to get a party started for sure. Okay, here we go. Number 3. If you could bring a character from a TV show or movie, book, whatever fictional character to life and hang out with them for a day, who would it be?
I would probably do Hercules.
Okay. Just gonna have him lift up some things around the house for you?
Yeah, dude. Just kill some time with him and see what he's all about. I know what he's all about, but it would be cool to work out with him too, maybe.
Yeah, I bet you he's got a routine there. I'm sure of it. Okay, question number 4. If you could have an unlimited supply of anything, tacos, whiskey, guitar strings, scotch tape, pianos, whatever it is, what would it be?
Pizza.
Ooh. Okay, what's your go-to toppings?
Man, jalapenos, pepperoni. You said toppings, right?
Yes, sir.
Banana peppers, olives, take it all. And specifically, Casey's Pizza. Being from the Midwest, I might take a specific type of pizza.
Okay, I like it. That sounds delicious. It's getting to be a little bit close to dinner time out here. So awesome, man. Well, Eric, that was the first 4. Thanks for playing along with us. And now that everybody knows your favorite pizza toppings, let's let them kind of pull back the curtain a little bit and learn a little bit more about you. You grew up on a family farm in rural Illinois. Give us the Cliff Notes version of what that was like and what the heck the Korn Krib is.
Well, Ty, man, I grew up in the Midwest, straight up, like central part of Illinois. We were 3 hours south of Chicago, about 2 hours north of St. Louis, so we were kind of like that central part. We could get to some of the bigger cities, but I honestly spent most of my time there on the farm. It's kind of like my playground, man. My parents owned a greenhouse business. We farmed corn and soybeans, so I grew up around agriculture and just learning to work and just enjoy being in the rural community and everything. And it's a small community, about 400 people, so we kind of knew everybody. Went to a small school, played in marching band. I was one of those cats. Being a part of music was just who I was. And it wasn't until about my freshman year of high school, now I'd say probably my 8th grade year going into high school, I started playing piano at my parents' bar called the Korn Krib. And Korn Krib is basically, it was 2 grain silos tied together with the center building, and it was the place to be every weekend, man. Friends came out there whenever we were able to hang out late nights at the bar. Dollar Bush Lights on, Friday nights, that kind of place, man.
That sounds like a good time. That sounds like a place that I'd like to hang out at quite a bit.
You would love it, man. You would love it. We actually ended up, selling it a couple years ago because, my parents are getting older, and I have two brothers. They're kind of taking over the farm, and I think my dad just kind of wants to chill, and my mom still wants to run the greenhouse business, and she grows thousands of flowers and shrubs and trees, and that's kind of their main thing, man. So, it's sad to see the place, leave our family, but we also, we'll always have roots there because we built it, and my handprints are in the concrete in the kitchen part, man. It's a cool place.
That's really cool. How old were you when you guys built it?
Gosh, man, I want to say I was probably 10 or 11, I would say. And we actually rebuilt it because the other place had some structural, problems and stuff, and then ended up rebuilding it, and it's standing strong, man. Neon lights shining bright, so.
I love it. Well, so when you were there and you were playing, were you kind of up on stage, or were you just background music, or a little bit of everything?
It was dinner hour music. Yeah, it was mainly background music, I guess you could say. But it's kind of funny because when I played there, like the nearby town, like we'd always pay for like the the billboards where you can switch the letters in and out.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was a gas station in the next town that had one of those billboards where you could switch the letters in and out, and they'd say Eric Burgett playing live at the Korn Krib, Christmas dinner hour music, 6 o'clock to like 9 o'clock or whatever. And it was just an old upright piano, man. It was an old ragtime piano, pretty rickety, just slightly out of tune, but it still had some character.
So what led to that? What led to you playing the piano there? I mean, has music always kind of been a big deal in your life? You mentioned that you don't have a backup plan. Is this something that's always kind of been there for you, and this is the path that you've always wanted to take since you were little?
Yeah, man, it's in my heart. It's I got a story to tell, and that's coming from a small town, you don't really I don't know. I guess when I was younger, I never really was like, I want to farm. I want to, it was always, I want to do music. And how that kind of came about, though, was when I was young, like 4 years old, I would say, I was playing by ear. Took after my older brother, Elliot. He was playing stuff like Billy Joel, Elton John. He had some Beach Boys in his back pocket. He'd play, and I kind of wanted to mimic my older brother. And so I hopped up on the piano and just started playing stuff by ear. Lo and behold, I was taking lessons, learning classical music, and never really touched the guitar, though. It was always piano. And I would listen to country music on the tractor with my dad. I'd hop off the tractor, go right to the piano, and start playing some like Bob Seger, like whatever I heard on the radio that day. And it was just a blast. So deep down, man, I knew something was up, and I needed to do music, dude. So.
Well, and is that still the case, that piano is your go-to instrument? You don't play anything else?
It's my go-to, man. I honestly, I play a little guitar, but I feel the most comfortable behind the piano. And it's sort of like an appendage. It's a part of me. And I, at my live shows, I'll front my band with the piano, but I'm always dancing. So I stand and play piano. I don't sit and play piano. So I got to move, and you'll see me in front of at the front of the stage, just shaking everybody's hand, giving high fives. But then you'll see me jump behind the piano and start rocking that signature lick, like old time rock and roll or something, man. So
that's a different experience, especially for country music crowds. I think that they're used to either there's a singer or there's a singer that's playing guitar, but a front man with a piano is something that's a little bit different. How's that been for you as you're trying to make a name for yourself? Do you feel like that helps you kind of stand out, or does it hinder you when you're trying to find new fans at a live show like that?
Man, I can only hope that I stand out. I guess, being in this world of country music that we're in, there's so many styles of music in general. There's country rock, there's pop country, there's the southern rock country, there's acoustic country, like low key, just stripped back country. I don't know, but with piano being a part of me, I guess it's Eric Burgett to the fullest. So I can only hope people start digging the music and more as we put music out every 6 weeks. So yeah, hop on board.
That's a great way to put it. It's just Eric Burgett, and that's what it is. And you brought up something interesting about the space that country music is in, and kind of has been, I guess, for maybe the last 5 years or so, where you have these people that when you say country music, they think old time country music, Hank Senior, back in that time. But it's come so far, and now country is almost like a subgenre to everything. You got country pop, country punk, country rock, kind of like you said. And you moved. When did you move to Nashville?
So I moved to Nashville in 2012 and moved right after college, and been here coming up on my 10 years next year. I'm excited.
So that's congratulations. 10 years in Nashville is an accomplishment, especially to still be able to play music. But you've kind of been there through this growth of Nashville and this change over the last 10 years. What's that been like since the day that you moved there to where it's at now? How much has that changed?
Man, definitely the landscape has changed for one. So there's more places, to play at. There's more venues, which only means more people being, witnessing your music, when you play out. I try to play live in Nashville about at least once or twice a month, whether that's a songwriting round or my band showcasing at one of our favorite venues. I just played the Bluebird a couple weeks ago on a songwriting night. It was really cool. But I think, in terms of getting music out there, I think it's just been gradually more of an online world. I guess you could say, with the streaming platforms, Amazon, iTunes, Spotify, Pandora, more ways to discover artist music. Facebook, Instagram has always been there, but just been, and TikTok. TikTok's been a big help for me to get my music out there and book shows too, man. So yeah, I'd say a lot's changed for sure.
Well, and especially as you mentioned, the way that music is released. I mean, you look back 10 years ago, there was some streaming, but everybody was still releasing albums. I mean, it was very much an album-driven world, even on the streaming side. You didn't have these individual singles that were coming out like they are now. And you mentioned it, you're putting out music every 6 weeks or so. I mean, from an artist perspective, is it tougher to keep putting out individual singles, or is it tougher to try and build an album or an EP?
I've found the most success for me as a newer artist, giving people a taste of what I got with a new single every 6 weeks, and just hopefully that next single that comes out drives them to go back and look at my previous single or the single before that, and just kind of have this big snowball effect, and also leading them to my socials and being like, who's this guy? They might see me on a playlist and check me out, check my Instagram out, come see me at a show, no matter where I'm at, or send out a message on Facebook. And, I've gotten messages from folks saying they discovered me on a playlist, and, they just appreciate that. And I truly appreciate that with, them reaching out to a new artist that they didn't even know the day before, so.
Well, and you're right. It's so much more about branding now than just being an artist. I mean, it's not just putting music out, putting it on Spotify and hoping people find it, or hoping that you make an editorial playlist. It's really the work behind the scenes on social media and going out to shows and actually meeting people. But I want to take a step back just a little bit. You mentioned that you moved to Nashville right out of college. When you moved there, did you have any connections, or was it one of those I'm moving to Nashville because I believe in myself so much type of moves?
Both, man. I didn't know a whole lot of people, but I knew some folks whom I've met, who I've met throughout the years. I knew a guy who was a, publicist, PR guy, who I met through my buddy who ran one of the state fair circuits up in Illinois, or a guy who ran sound for some of the Illinois fair circuits. And those are like showcases to showcase at fairs, and hopefully meet a talent buyer through them to book you at at their county fair. But you know, I knew a couple folks like that who I had met through various links up in Illinois. I knew a couple of college friends who had moved down here like 2 years prior to my moving here. So I knew a couple people when I moved to town, but you know, I would say it's just a constant swarm of people just like around you and in the creative world. There's nothing like meeting another creative and kind of getting to know them, because we're all in it together with this music industry, man. So it's really cool getting to meet people and getting to know them. So
Nashville is such an interesting place for musicians. No matter what genre of music you play, there's somebody there and multiple people, a whole group of people there that you can fall in with, that you can write with, that will help support you and you support them. And it's something that you don't really see anywhere else. I would say anywhere else in the world, really, where there's this connection, not just around music, but around people in general. Am I reading the vibe right?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. I mean, the longer you stay here in this town, the more people you meet. That's definitely a thing. And the longer folks are here at the same time as you, like, you're just gonna grow together and just keep building this like kingdom. I guess is what I think of it as. And it's been a cool thing, man, because it's easy to feel left out, but if you really put in the work and you go out and meet people, that term networking, you got to be present to make things work, and it's never so true. So
well, and you spent 5 years in Nashville, and then you ended up getting signed by Bowda Stern. Pull back the curtain a little bit and tell everybody kind of what is that process like from an artist perspective. You're trying to find an agency to represent you, but then also going through the process of actually making that happen.
Yeah, so when I first moved to town, and actually going back to when you asked me if I knew anybody before I moved to town, my alumni director at my alma mater up in Illinois, I went to Millikan University, and my alma mater.
I actually have a couple of buddies that went to Millikan.
Oh yeah, man, awesome, dude. It's a great school, dude. Great school. Call it the Milla Bubble. It's kind of its own little thing in rural Midwest, man. It's where I got a lot of my, I guess you could say ambition to, even more of an ambition to like do what I do. And a lot of my friends had actually moved from, who I went to Millikan with, they moved to Millikan, a lot of my friends who I went to Millikan with actually moved down to Nashville at the same time. So,
that makes it easy.
Yeah, dude, it was cool. We all kind of went out together, and, it's cool to see a lot of them doing their thing. Like they're on tours, with big artists, and it's just awesome, man. We catch up, pretty often. So, but speaking of Millikan, my alumni director connected me with an alum who eventually became my producer, Matt McClure. Matt went to Millikan many years before I did, but he grew up in a farm town not too far from my hometown. So it was a cool thing, for us to both be farm kids, but he had all this experience and all these experiences in Nashville. And here I was just starting my experiences in Nashville. And after a couple of years, getting to know Matt and Matt getting to know me, I would send him songs that I wrote with folks around town. I just really hit the ground running, writing songs. And I'd send him a song. He'd give me an A, B, C, D, or an like he'd listen to it. And he'd say, "This is killer, man." Or sometimes he wouldn't respond or something, just because that's just how it is sometimes. If you're really busy, it's easy to get sidetracked and not respond to something that might have tripped your ear to go, "Hey, this is cool." But I didn't take it personal, because there's thousands upon thousands of songs being written every day in this town. But after he saw some light in me, after all my songs I've been sending him, he's like, "Man, let's take this to the next level." And that's when he signed me to his company, and it's been awesome ever since, man. He's a great guy. He's worked with a lot of the greats in this town, and I got a great team around me. So
well, and he's got a pretty good ear for what a good song is. I mean, he's worked with all sorts of different artists, Lee Brice, Dylan Scott, just some more relevant or some more recent names. What's that like when a guy that's worked with so many artists and has heard so many of these good songs, what's it like when he tells you, hey, this is a great song, or this is a song that I want to move forward with? I mean, that's got to be an extra little vote of confidence, right?
Yeah, man. It was like, it's like, man, validity is, something that, you love to have it, and it was very true coming from him, when he says this song is killer, man. I love it. I'm digging this. And I just got like goosebumps or something. I was like, that's cool, man. Cause I've been, it tells you you're doing something right. And it was awesome. Definitely sure. a vote of confidence for sure. So.
Well, awesome. And I do want to talk about your songwriting, but before we get to that point, I want to give everybody a chance to hear your music. And the first song that we have for everybody here, it's called Sometimes Late at Night. And you originally wrote this song for your wedding, right? Give us the story behind this.
Yeah, I wrote this song for my wife. We got married at the Country Music Hall of Fame here in Nashville, and it's a crazy story behind that. Her grandpa he is in the Hall of Fame. He was part of a country duo called Homer and Jethro, and they were a comedic country duo. He played guitar, banjo, you name it. I would have loved to meet him, and so we decided to get married at the Country Music Hall of Fame, and it was just a beautiful night, man. And leading up to that, I was writing this song with Matt, my producer, and our good buddy Tony Wood. We had the song started, and it was shaping up to be something special. I just knew it, and I come in I don't know, it might have been a month before my wedding, and I was like, yeah, I want this to be the first dance song for my wedding, and I'm going to surprise my wife with it. And so we finished it, catered it towards being even more of a love song, wedding song, give that vibe. And I played it for the first dance. My wife and I had a song picked out, but little did she know, I switched things up, gave the song to the DJ, and she's like, what's this? And she's heard my voice singing on the track, and I said, just listen, and we danced. So that's how that song, made its mark in my world. So
well, and it's made a mark in more places than just that, but we'll talk about that in just a second. Let's give everybody a chance to listen to it. This one's called Sometimes Late at Night by today's guest, Eric Burgett.
Sometimes late at night, when you're sleeping, I find myself awake, and it feels like I'm the one who's dreaming. Sometimes late at night, I see you lying there. I know I found the answer to my prayer. I got a heart full of dreams and fears. You say I worry, say I think too much. I don't believe I could take it here in a world without your touch. For everything that's wrong in life, when I got you by my side, I know it's all gonna be alright. It's so clear. Sometimes late at night, beside me in the dark, you don't say a word. It's enough to heal my heart. I watch a little smile of moonlight move across your face, and when I hear you breathe, this noisy world seems so far away. I got a heart full of dreams and fears. You say I worry, say I think too much. I don't believe I could take it here in a world without your touch. For everything two of us. I don't ever want to wake up here in a world without your love. For everything that's wrong in life, when I got you by my side, I know it's all gonna be alright. It's so clear sometimes late at night, sometimes late at night.
And that was Sometimes Late at Night by Eric Burgett. And Eric, as I mentioned, it did more than just impress your wife. It impressed a ton of people. Nearly 300,000 streams on Spotify. It peaked at number 26, I think, on the Music Row Country Breakout chart. What's it like watching a song like that that's not just an intimate song for you? Because I'm guessing that every song you write kind of holds a special place, but this one seems extra special. What's it like watching a song like that climb the charts the way that it did?
Oh man, I get chills. I would see the charts come out every week when it was on country radio, and I'd see it doing its thing, and you know, looking at all the statistics on where it's being played and how many people Shazam it and use it in TikTok videos and stuff like that. It's heartwarming for me, man, because that's proof for me that I wrote something that is, you know, relative to everyone out there, and you can't ever go wrong with a love song, man, and it came from a real place, and I'm thrilled that it's still doing its thing, man. So
well, and we talked about this a little bit. You're a bit unique in the country music world because you play piano, and another artist that kind of jumps right out at me is Phil Vassar. And you mentioned Billy Joel, Elton John. Who are some piano players that you draw some inspiration from when you sit down to write music?
Yeah, man, definitely Phil Vassar. He's my guy, dude. I've had the chance to open up for him a couple times, and you know, we've caught lunch here in Nashville before. Just a really good dude. I consider him a friend, and he's definitely at the top of my list for sure. Billy Joel, definitely. You know, going back to Phil being singer, songwriter, piano player, triple threat. It's like, man. And I know I have some big shoes to fill if I'm going to be playing piano in country music, but he's probably my number one hero, I guess you could say. Ronnie Millsap, man, Smoky Mountain Rain, just love that song. Just every time I hear it, goosebumps. Charlie Rich is definitely up there too. So those are some of my piano players that I cling to every once in a while. I'll pull out some tunes and you know, play them,
and I think just kind of listening to your music, you can kind of see those inspirations just in the songs that you put out. But I mean, I wouldn't downplay yourself too much. You're a fairly accomplished piano player by yourself already. I mean, you've got a degree in piano, correct? There was a word after it that I couldn't pronounce, so I wasn't even going to try. But
that's okay, man. it's a fancy term called pedagogy. It's a fancy term for piano teaching. So, and that's another part of my life that I was really lucky to have under my belt when I moved to Nashville and went to college, studied classical piano. You know, you'd see me on the concert stage playing classical pieces that I memorized that were like 20 pages long. And for me, it was a challenge, and I love a good challenge. And while I was cutting my teeth at, you know, songwriting and being on tour playing shows during the week, at night you'd find me in classes at Belmont University here in Nashville, and that's where I got my master's degree. So,
well, and you've also done some work with the Nashville Ballet, right?
Yeah. Early on, I used to play keys for ballet classes at Nashville Ballet, and that's another part of, you know, the whole, you know, being challenged for sure. Like I love contributing to other people's arts, their crafts, their talents, and so I would be at the piano composing music as they teach the dances, and they would dance to the music that I composed, and they'd call me maestro, and that was cool. And so but more than anything, like I said, I just love being a part of the music scene here in town. There's so much to be a part of, and a lot of those gigs, playing piano for the ballet and also teaching piano lessons, it was a big source of my income that allowed me to do that in the evenings, write songs during the day, pay my rent, food, everything, man. So I'm really blessed.
Well, and that's got to help you in terms of being a singer, songwriter, piano player. When you get up there or you're sitting at home writing a song by yourself, I mean, I feel like some of those elements from all of the different things you've done kind of work their way into your music, right?
They do, man. They do. I would say more often than not, man. Like those songs I write, like the melodies, the piano, like when you listen to one of my songs, just the bare bones of it is just piano and then me singing, and then we kind of craft everything else around it. The band, throw the fiddle in, the banjo, but at the very core of it, it's Eric Burgett at the piano, man, and I just love that about this whole world. So
when you sit down to write, do you have sort of a process that you go through? Do you start with a melody or lyrics, or does it kind of depend on what's going on at the time?
It kind of depends on who I'm writing with. I might be with one other person in the room. I might be with 2 or 3 other people in a room. You might think 4 people is a lot of folks to have in the room, juggling ideas, bouncing ideas off each other. But no matter how many people in the room, it's magical. And I might come in with some sort of preconceived idea that's been on my phone for a while. Like yesterday, I guess I can pull from this example. Yesterday, I wrote a song with 2 of my buddies. We were on Zoom because we couldn't all meet at the same place at one time, and one of my buddies was up in Illinois, back up there for a little bit. One of my buddies was in Indiana. They make frequent trips to Nashville, but we wanted to make sure we made it happen. So we got online, Zoomed it up. I had this idea on my phone. I'm like, hey, I've had this idea for a while. I'll throw it out there. If we're digging it, let's write it. And we ended up writing it and finishing it. And it was more of a, I had part of a first verse melody and lyrics written, and then the chorus written. And then we just changed a few things here and there. So those kind of instances happen. But also I'll write in the room. I'll roll in the writer's room. We all just start with a piano rhythm that I have going on, and then someone will just start humming a melody, and we're like, it's cool, and we kind of roll with that, man. It changes every time, and that's what I love about it too, man. It's not always the same.
Well, and co-writes are always different, like you said. No matter how many times you've been in the same room with the same people, there's always magic happening. I mean, you guys are creating art, you're creating songs, but when you go into a co-write as somebody who's a piano first artist and writer, does that change the dynamic at all versus if you're going into a room where everybody else plays guitar?
Yeah, I mean, I guess sometimes it kind of, I think more times, like I've probably used piano almost 90% of my writes here in this town. Sometimes I just like getting away from the piano. It kind of lets my mind run free, where I'm not worrying about chords and the underlying music plus lyrics and melody. But I don't know, because I draw from so many different artists, and like Phil Vassar, who's like upbeat, but he can also be ballad driven, or Ronnie Millsap, who uses some of the some different keyboards like the Wurlitzer or the Rhodes, not just a piano. They can make that work in their own world and write both upbeat and slow songs. And I love that about piano, man, because I can play upbeat, I can play slow, and a lot of that upbeat stuff that I play, I got to give credit to that classical training that I had building those skills. So I feel like, when I get in the writer's room, you can always play a guitar to the piano, and a lot of folks think it's cool, I think, so.
It's definitely different than I think what most people expect, especially when they see you live. If they have no idea who you are, and then you pop out on stage, you've got this piano, a band behind it even, and you're going to be in Las Vegas on the 19th of November. What can we expect when Eric Burgett hits the stage at Stoney's?
Oh, I'm gonna be high energy. I can't wait because it's my first show in Vegas. I'm gonna run out on stage. I'm gonna just be on cloud nine, man. It's gonna be awesome. And I love Vegas. I love that part of the country. And I used to go there when I was a kid to see some of the shows. Like when my parents would take me, they would go to the casinos and stuff, but then we'd go to the shows during the day. So I have that sort of subconscious thing where it's like a place where you can see shows, the Cirque du Soleil stuff, from the impersonator shows to it's just awesome. It's cool. I cannot wait.
Well, I'm excited to see you there, and I'm excited to hear this next song that we're going to talk about. It's your latest single. It's called Turnt. Give us the story behind this song.
Yeah, so this song was brought to the table by my good buddy Chris Sly. He had a lot of the song written. He and my good friend Mary Cutter, and Chris, the fact that he brought that to the table and said, "Hey man, this song kind of sounds like you. I really want you to listen to it, and let's finish this puppy." And we did, man. And I took one listen to it. He had a little demo, and I was like, man, I have yet to put out a heartbreaker song. Like I'm all positive. It's always been like upbeat stuff, always positive. That's who I am. And the fact that this song, the melody that he had started with, it just caught my attention, man. And so we ended up running with it. We finished it, recorded it, and we've gotten it on some playlists and stuff. I mean, I'm just excited to see where it goes. So,
well, here, let's give everybody a chance to listen to this one. It's called Turnt. It's new music from Eric Burgett.
Shot a jack in my right hand and a bottle in my left. Staring at the door, you just stormed down, headed west. Baby, what's the saying about loving and letting go? But it don't matter how I let you go now. I know you ain't coming home, 'cause I'll still be here and you'll still be gone. Baby, I'm broke down and turned out. I'm messed up, there's no doubt. And tonight I'm getting drunk without you. 'Cause if I drink enough to get wasted for a while, I'll just forget how easy, girl, you left and turned me loose. So baby, here's to you. Tonight I'm busting out the good stuff that I swore I wouldn't drink till you married me. But I watched you leave with my heart but not that ring. And now that you're gone, I don't wanna feel a single thing. 'Cause baby, I'm broke down and turned out. I'm messed up, there's no doubt. And tonight I'm getting drunk without you. 'Cause if I drink enough to get wasted for a while, I'll just forget how easy, girl, you left and turned me loose. So baby, here's to you. Tonight I'm getting drunk without you. 'Cause if I drink enough to get wasted for a while, I'll just forget how easy, girl, you left and turned me loose. So baby, here's to you. So baby, here's to you.
There you have it, brand new music by Eric Burgett. It's called Turnt, and you can hear that the 19th of this month at Stoney's here in Las Vegas. I assume those tickets are on your website, Eric?
Yeah, they're on my website. You can go to Stoney's Rockin' Country's website and get them. And y'all come out and see me. It's going to be a good time.
What's your website URL?
EricBurgett.com, Burgett. It looks like Burgett, but it ain't that fancy, I swear.
Oh, nice and simple. And you mentioned a little bit earlier your TikTok, your Instagram. What are your social media handles?
Yeah, so Eric Burgett Music, that's my Instagram. Same with Facebook. Y'all find me on Facebook. Twitter, I'm on Twitter every now and then. That's eBurgett Music. So y'all hit me up and follow me on this journey. So.
Well, and something else that you're doing that's pretty cool. It's called the Town You've Never Heard of Truck Bed Tour. What is that, and how can people get in touch with you if they want you to come play in a town that you've never heard of?
I would love that, y'all. You reach out on my website, email me, reach out on Facebook, Instagram, just DM me what I'm doing. So I've been doing this the past couple of months, and I kind of started it during COVID. Where my wife and I used to live, just south of Nashville, our neighborhood was just awesome. And I got to thinking, I'm like, man, we're in this pandemic, everybody has to kind of hole up in their houses, and it can't be any fun. And so I had a buddy help me lift my piano up in my truck bed, and we rolled around my neighborhood one day, and I sang songs, and people came out in their front lawns and took videos and pictures and singing along more than anything, just having fun. And I was like, man, I should do this like as a countrywide tour. So I put a feeler out on Facebook, said, hey, I want to come to your town. I'm going to call this the Town You Never Heard of Truck Bed Tour. And it doesn't have to be a town I never heard of, but I'm playing off one of my previous singles, Town You Never Heard of. And a lot of these towns have been towns I never heard of, which is awesome. People of like 300 people towns, or I played one up in Chicago, actually. Someone wanted to book me in their backyard, so we turned it into a backyard concert one night, and we just have fun, man. I played like a 90-minute show. Come to your neck of the woods. You don't have to leave. You just invite your friends, and we have bonfires, bush lights, whatever. Hang out, sing some songs, and more than anything, I get to meet people and make some new fans. So
that's pretty cool, and that's a pretty unique way to go about it. Eric, man, it's been an absolute blast. I can't wait to see you on the 19th here in Las Vegas. But before we let you go, we end every podcast the same way, sort of the same way that we started it. 4 questions just to get you out of here. Maybe the toughest questions that I'm going to ask you this whole time, just because they make you think. You ready for it?
Oh boy, let's go.
It's time for the Final Four.
Okay, here we go. Question number 1. What's your favorite venue that you've ever played in?
Favorite venue I've ever played in? I would have to say, man, there's so many to choose from. Gosh.
Like I said, these ones are tough.
Goodness. I'm going to have to say, because it's near and dear to my heart, the world of agriculture, and I just loved, it was everything about that place. The night, the people, and it happened to be actually close to my hometown. The Farm Progress show, I opened up for Rodney Atkins, and I think this was like 2008, the year 2008, going all the way back there. Yeah, the Farm Progress show concert stage, man, in Decatur, Illinois. That was awesome.
That sounds like it would be a good time, especially based on on your background and that sort of thing.
Yeah, it was a stage that was in the middle of a field. You know, it took place during what they call the Farm Progress Show, where people from all over the world come and try out new farm equipment, learn, you know, what's going on in the world of agriculture, technology wise, and just it's a big playground for farmers to come for a couple of days. And we ended the couple days with a concert, and I got to open up for Rodney Atkins. So
that's pretty cool. I hosted a festival out in Washington State on Labor Day weekend called Farm Jam, and it's literally just at a family farm. They cut down the cornfield, throw up a trailer stage, have some vendors out there, let everybody camp, and it's a completely different experience. So I can imagine that was a pretty cool show to play.
Absolutely, man. Yep.
Okay, here we go. Question number 3. When you're out on the road, what's the one restaurant that you have to stop at every time you pass it?
Does Casey's General Stores count?
I think so. I took Buc-ee's as an answer a while ago, so I think that'll work.
For sure.
Okay, here we go, buddy. Last question. If you could pick one thing for people to take away from your appearance on this podcast and your music in general, what would it be?
I would like them to know, I'd like y'all to know out there that, you know, my music comes from a real place, and you know, I hope that you jump on this journey with me and follow along with a newer artist that you might not know right now, but give me a chance and add my music to your playlist, share it with your friends, and I promise you're going to find something along the way that you'll listen to that I hope you dig. So,
Eric, man, thank you so much for taking the time to jump on here. I'm excited to see you on the 19th, get to meet you in person, and we'll definitely have to do this again down the road.
Absolutely, Todd. Thanks, buddy.
Absolutely. And that was another episode of the Tea Party Podcast. It's the country music podcast where you find new friends and new music like Eric Burgett and his new single, Turnt.
Go tee off on the like button at facebook.com/Tea Party Podcast. This has been a Tea Party Communications production. Theme music created by Jesse Quandt. Announcer voiceovers by Gwinn. And as always, hosted by Pisani.